if you're watching this or listen to it from Missouri,
Yes.
you probably got snow. I talked to Bruce Richardson last night on the phone.
Okay.
Bruce is in Vegas. Of course, he works for Mandalay Bay.
Right.
Bruce hasn't worked since the middle of March or the 1st of March.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because they have a governor or something that's keeping everything shut down, and
Right.
they're opening it just a little bit starting today. But
Right.
yeah, Bruce said he said he's actually watched all these that I'm on.
Well, that's good.
That's a bunch of them. Gee whiz.
He definitely needs to come on.
I said you need to be on here with us then.
Exactly.
Because we got to talking about. Bruce said this would be good sleigh riding in Crane, and he talked
right now.
about back in the days, the big hill from your house.
Absolutely. The big hill.
He said he actually rode sleds down that hill.
I bet.
He didn't get ran over at the bottom. And he said then they would start up by my house and go the level street down that way and then turn and go kind of where Gibson's was right there.
That's a big hill.
And then go down. Gee, I said, well, you need to get on here and tell about that. That's
yes, absolutely.
Pretty outrageous. But Bruce is what am I doing? Yeah, I told him to get on here. He said, oh, probably not.
He needs to, but you need to tell me about karaoke on Saturday night. What was that like?
Man, I was at the Eagles Lodge in Cape Fear, Missouri, which is down by the lake, which Bruce asked me if I turn in Reed Springs and cut over through there to Cape Fear. Bruce says, but they're kind of some.
Oh, no. Let's see if this can work again.
Well, this is a fair deal. Oh, now we're there.
There we are. There you are.
But
yes,
it was good. We went. They cooked steaks for everybody. Had fillets.
Wow.
Big, thick fillets. Sheila went with me.
Right.
And it was a good bunch. The first song they wanted to hear of the night, I told you this, but not on here, was the 95 Asshole song, which is everybody's probably heard it. It's I was born an asshole, and I have been all my life. It's that type of song. I said, well, and then they said, well, how about the rodeo song? Well, I met the guy that wrote the rodeo song in Las Vegas, and then I probably sung it more than he ever did. That's the one. It's 40 below, and I don't have a truck, but I don't give a. I'm off to the rodeo. Alaman left, Alaman right. Come on, you effing dummy, get your right step right. Get off the stage, fool. You know you pissed me off. It's a fun song, and they were all hollering out, "We're a grown crowd. We're all over 21. We cuss." And we're at a private club, so you can sing it for us. I said, okay, let's get it started. So we started with that. We started with those two songs. And the guy that won the I-95 Asshole song, I just called him Mr. Asshole. I go, well, Mr. Asshole, you need to come up here and sing this with me. Well, he liked that. Now, in the entertainment business, you have to be able to pick who you can jot around with and who you can't. I mean, it's then I made the mistake. Some guy, Vern was a younger guy, and he got up and sang. I said, so Vern, I said, do you have a wife or a date here tonight? Girlfriend? He goes, no. I said, well, you guys need to hook Vern up with somebody tonight. And they go, he's got a partner.
Okay.
And so I said, Vern, you're here. You're with the guy. And he says, yeah. And I go, well, that's fine. You know, that's your choice. And sorry, I said, I didn't mean to say that stuff. I just assumed I was down here at Cape Fear at the Eagles Lodge. I didn't think.
Yes.
But it was and Kerry Chester, the guy that cooked all the steaks. Now, Kerry's not the president, but he's up pretty high. And him and his wife, they had a little thing. It was like the newlywed game, but they called it the Ollywed game. Okay. And they had set up where the husbands would sit behind the wives, and then they'd have the husbands leave and they'd ask questions and they'd come back and try to, and then 30 minutes later they did. So she had little games planned out, which was a lot of fun. And we did karaoke, and because of the COVID thing, I used these disposable windscreens
Right.
that you put on a mic, and you just tell the people, take that back to your table and bring it back with you when you sing. And then we Clorox or whatever, wipe if they held the mic, wipe that down. And so that turned into the fun part of the night. Everybody just laughing because they had their condom. Oh, I left my condom back at my table. You got another condom I can use? And then Vern's partner, he was a middle-aged guy, and he was a lot of fun. He was almost like a Rodney Dangerfield, and he was drunk, and him and Sheila, Darren's wife, were hitting it off with each other, and he kept using his mic condom for his crotch condom, acting like he was doing stuff, and
Right.
so it was quite the evening. It was I'd sat there for like 3.5, 4 hours behind the table running everything. Darren had changed the mic things for me.
Sure.
I finally decided, I've been sitting so long with my legs like this, I think I'll get up and sing. Everybody, we want to hear you sing something. So I thought I'd get up and sing.
Mhm.
Man, I was doing all I could do, hanging onto the mic stand, just be able to stay up there, because
Right.
when you haven't been using your legs right, and now you're going to stand up and do a song. Yeah, it was tough. And all the way back, there was no cars on the road, but that little road that cuts through there is just, I mean, you can see the edges where, boom, you go off over the edge.
Right.
I told them, I said, I'm driving in the middle of the road, but I can see in front of me. I can see behind me. If we start sliding, I don't want to be right on the edge. I want to at least have some room.
Yes.
So it was a fun night. We had fun. And on the way there, Sheila wanted to stop at McDonald's so we could get a bite to eat, but in case this took a long time for the steak. So on my van, I rolled down the window all the way. Zzz. After we got our food, the window wouldn't come back up. And I'm like, oh, gee whiz.
Oh, no.
So Darren put a towel. We shut the door, and there's a towel hanging there. And then in about 5 minutes, it raised up. So then we went to turn to go to Cape Fear. This is all the little things that are happening. I get out. I said, we've only got a quarter tank of gas. Let me get some gas. Put the nozzle in there, and I go, look, it's VP racing gas. This is going to be good.
Yes.
And it pumped 1.2 gallons and shut off.
Oh,
And
no.
the pump says, thanks for shopping with us. I was like, it just gave me a gallon, and then and Darren's like, man, keep it going. That's enough to get us there and back. So the whole night, it was fun. And the president of the club was there, and he had a blast, and he sung a song. Then we brought the lights up, and he had his wife come up, and he gave her a necklace. But he was coming over there saying, we got to get you back in here. We need to do this at least once a month.
You're a big hit at that club, definitely.
Well, that would be just a little extra income thing.
Sure.
That you can kind of work it in whenever you can.
Yes.
And that's why Darren likes to go with me, because if there's something I can't do, then he knows how to do everything, and he can do it. But it was a good night. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it, and it helped the bank account. And so
sounds good. Yes.
All of the above.
Now
the night before, KJ Dave, one of the guys that does a lot of karaoke down here, and he does Lionel Richie at the Legends shows and stuff. I told him this Saturday afternoon I'd pick up. He's going to give me some of those mic things, because the ones I ordered for Amazon that was supposed to be here on the 10th. Now I got a thing today. They're going to be here maybe tomorrow on the 16th. It's one of those. So KJ Dave, yeah, he just said, I got a bunch extra. I'll give you a bunch of them to take with you. And okay. So it was late. That was Friday. So it was Thursday night late. No, Friday night late. And he texted me and he said, "Why? I live over in Hollister. Why don't I just come by your house on the way home from my gig and drop them off?"
Right.
I said, "Okay, we'll just drop them off on the front porch. I'll be up. I'll keep watching so nobody takes it." You know, there. Well, he didn't tell me he was at Rockaway Beach.
Oh no!
tell me he didn't get done till 1 o'clock. It was like 12 o'clock then.
Right.
So at 1 o'clock he loaded. So he got to my house like 2:15 or 2:30. I'm
Wow.
sitting waiting for Mike condoms for like 2 hours at my front door. So the whole weekend, he just had so many things that were just. And then Darren's wife, she's one of these ladies every 10 miles. I got to go to the bathroom. You got to pull in somewhere.
Right.
I go, that's why if we go to the big races, you don't go. Okay. It's just me and Darren. And it was all good. It was fun. It was cold. I was glad I had Darren helping me. He just grabbed the equipment, boom, put it in the van,
Right.
which I'd have been hobbling. I'd have been dragging it to the van.
Without a doubt. Yes.
Oh, and then we got home. The ending of the story, got home, and Darren and his wife go up on my front porch. I said, you got a key, right? Can you go in, get in? The screen door's locked.
Oh, no.
He had locked the screen door from the inside.
Oh,
So I said, how about my car? You moved my car before we left. You put it over in the grass because the ice and the grass wasn't as bad.
right.
I said, did you lock it? He said, I don't think I locked it because I didn't know how. Went over there. Luckily, it was unlocked and the garage door opener was there. So we got to go through the garage. But it was just, there was little things that went wrong all night long that we just laughed at. And it was good. It was a good night. It's funny, Bruce out in Vegas wrote me and said, how'd the karaoke gig go?
Right.
And so it was fun. And most of the people could kind of sing. And
That's always helpful.
that's all you need, people that can kind of sing. You don't need a bunch of really good singers. And so it was good. It was good. That's the end of the story for that, I think. Next subject.
Well, that's a good story, and I'm just so glad to have you back on the show. It was so nice to have you here. You've not been here much since your birthday. Let's point that out.
Birthday, I missed it because it was 3:45,
Right.
and I was trying to drag my mom in on the ice on her hind end in the driveway to get her in the house, which, especially on the ice and with one bad foot here, there's no way I could lift her. It's just dead weight. I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
And I told her, I said, I got to be online here in 15 minutes. Next thing I know, we're halfway through the garage, and it's like 4:30 or something like that. So I missed that day. And then Friday, we're just tooling along here. We started out, and the computer, even though I have my settings to do my own updates, sometimes it just does its own thing. I think it was Firefox that did it because it just kind of froze up
ahead of time so that we could make sure that we gave a good show for everybody. That's one thing we just say in our defense. We got on here to make sure it was right.
Yeah, well, we're on here, and I'm just doing it normal with the mic on the laptop and everything.
Right.
But the little AirPods, like I had those on, and they were working fine. And then whenever this kicked in, when the duck with the headphone, whatever, when that kicked in, it kicked off the mic.
Right.
But I don't know if it was in the computer, or I don't really know how to. I can just.
We're getting better, is what we're saying. We're saying that.
Well, that's one of the reasons I got these things, because they're just real handy to talk with.
Right.
Of course,
Yes.
we're spoiled in life. Let's see. Can I sit right here and talk, or do I got to have these things in my ears to talk? I guess it both works the same. So, but yeah, it's been good. Supposed to be with the doctor tomorrow and a bunch of stuff with my foot. There's no way I can
I
get.
figured that's not going to happen.
I can't even get out of my driveway, so it's. I think he'll understand.
It's more like the snows we used to have. It's been many years. It's good snow, definitely.
Yeah, we don't get the big snows. I mean, we used to get them all the time. I mean, it was. I remember growing up in Crane. It snowed all winter. You know, I mean, tons of times we were out sledding and stuff.
Right.
And Bruce, he got all into the sledding thing last night. I can't even get on here, but he's just too shy.
Well, he needs to come on clearly. As long, well, we need Bruce Westrup too. We need all the Bruces on here. Any Bruce is
Bruce
welcome.
Wester and Bruce Richardson. Bruce, uh, yeah, Bruce would be good. We can get Bruce out in Vegas on here and start him a fund me. Fund me. I've been out of work since March.
Right.
Well, shoot, if we're gonna do a fund me, I need to do the fund me for me. You know, it's I don't know, but it's life's okay. It's fine.
Sounds good. You know, all the stuff that I'm doing kind of behind the scenes on this thing, it's really cool to see how it's all coming together. But I'm just so excited for the show and everything we're doing. It's going so well. And I just, you know, I've always been positive, and I just want to say that this is going about as well as it could possibly go.
Well, it's I kind of like to know where that one theater is.
Right.
I saw the email you sent me, but it's
Right.
because that's an iffy thing, but it's a direction. I
It
mean,
certainly is.
if you're doing the you're the ticket thing, it's pretty much that's what you have to do. Because
Right.
you're the ticket up on this big fancy sign, and then you go putting some other show in there certain nights. Yeah, that
Right.
it'd be different if you're just doing shows like shows down here. They'll have the main guy, he does 3 or 4 nights, and you got this one doing, and this
Sure.
one does an afternoon, and this and that. But when you're doing something that's like this would be a cross between a show and an attraction, actually.
Right.
So you can't get people
It's
used
a
to
brand.
doing that. We're bringing our grandkids in, and they're going to be in the show. To all of a sudden, oh, that was last night. It's not tonight.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It's the big show, it's the big attraction, but I think that there's ways to do this, and I'll tell you about it.
But it's a good avenue, and just because people have kind of spotted a theater and this and that, kind of that it's easy to spot. It don't mean you're going to get it or have
Right.
it or have the funds or do what it takes to get it. Down 165, I don't know. The only thing I know of is this one thing that they've tried to do a theater with that used to be a restaurant,
Uh,
and it's next to Bald Knobbers. And there was 2 guys there this year, some comedian guy and some singer guy. Thing is, there's a little sign with 2 people that you never heard of. And so naturally, there's Bald Knobbers. Everybody's heard of that. And there's 2 people that we don't have a clue who they are.
sure.
And it's not a big fancy theater. So they're not. And I don't think I ever seen over 10 cars at that place.
Right.
But I don't know. There might be. There's some buildings down that way that have been empty for over a year that could maybe be used,
Right.
but I don't know. I don't know the real estate. Big Mike. Now, Big Mike, he was pretty good. He's got friends in the real estate business down here and everything that he
Okay.
knows and known forever. So I don't know. We may have to talk to Big Mike someday.
Sure.
See where he's at. Just see where he's at. Just tell him, hey, wanted to talk to him, seeing what he thinks. Not to mention he's got a fiddle of mine that the neck broke off that he's supposed to be.
Really?
He's had it a year. I don't think I'll ever see that again. Doesn't matter.
Right.
It's yeah, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things. I mean,
We got
there's
a lot of stuff going on, and it's so cool to see how it's all fitting together. But let's tell a Ray Reid story. What's a good Ray Reid story to go out with?
a good Ray Reid story. Gee
Uh,
whiz. I've told a bunch of them. I've told about the days we'd go to Bass Pro and he'd always buy something. I mean, he'd buy all new life. I said, we've got life jackets for the boat. We need some new ones. Those are pretty neat looking. Those right there. Let's get us a couple of those. Let's get 3 in case we want to take mom out in the boat sometime. Okay, whatever. Or what's that thing right there? Well, it changes colors. It tells you what the water's doing, the fish, and it's let's get one of those. That's kind of pricey. I don't care. Let's get one.
right.
Had a girlfriend one time. She had a boxer. Her dog died,
Okay.
and Dad was like, back in those days, you couldn't get on the internet. I mean, you had to get a newspaper or something. But he's like, let's find somebody that sells boxer puppies. Let's go get her one. She goes, hers died. And that's what we did. Went and got her a puppy. And Dad one Christmas bought me a little black Labrador puppy. And Christmas time, my dad, he would sit in our living room with a big Kansas City Chiefs hat on, not a ball cap, those kind of the golfer, the ones that go all the way around,
Right.
whatever they are. He'd have that on and no shirt and his boxer shorts, watching football, you know. You go, I'm comfortable, you know. And there was never a dull moment around him. I mean, there just wasn't. And, you know, he was such a good provider.
Right.
He just knew when things got kind of tough or he just knew how to get things done. Like I said, when I got it in my head that we needed a tour bus instead of a school bus,
yes,
well, he agreed. And I found a place in Joplin that had had 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. We went over there and looked at it, and we drove one. And man, now you ain't shop till you go shopping for a tour bus. Gee whiz. And we went to Branson. He was talking to the Lowe family. They built buses. He was talking to everybody down here that had one, see if they'd sell them. And he just got in his mind that's what he was going to do. And he would do it. He was a good negotiator. I mean, he really was. And he sold a lot of cars.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, he did. There was people that would come, Ray, I've been buying cars from you for 25 years now. This will be my 4th one. And they understood that he would take care of them, give them really good deals. They didn't even heckle with him or anything over price. And they just give me a good price because we know you're going to do that. And he would, because I would know what he had in the car. And it was always, that was just small town, you know. That was, Mark Rundle was over there all the time. Because you know Mark, I had some little Porsche 914s,
right?
And I had one that Mark wanted really bad, so we sold that one to Mark. And then me and Mark, we would go play. He got in his mind that me and him need to be playing racquetball, and closest place was over in Aurora, and he'd come over during the day. Man, let's go play racquetball. But Mark played racquetball. Mark would hit the ball and then just right in the middle of the court, bend down and watch for when it's going to come back. I'd say, Mark, you hit it and then kind of move. I mean, don't just. So I got to where I just slam it right into his hind end. You know, he'd be, man, you knocked the ball halfway up my back end. You know, and so he would do that. And Dad, when I worked for Dad, at the Chevrolet place and in Mount Vernon, at the Dodge Chrysler place.
Right.
I mean, I did anywhere from sales to parts manager to back in those days, you didn't have to have 25 people running an agency. And my mom did all the bookkeeping.
Right.
So she took care of all that. We had one main mechanic, and I'd be the parts manager. The mechanic tell me what I need. I'd get it all ordered here. It'll be here in the morning. And but when you're working for your dad, I'd be like, Dad, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, man. I think I need to go ahead and leave. I got stuff I want to do today. Well, okay, son. But also working for my dad, I remember in Crane, I can't tell you how many cars I had to take to the back of the shop and wash them, and take those 5 cars and get them all cleaned up. But even the guy to work for, I don't even think I got a paycheck. I think it was just kind of I was his son, so he took care of me. I just worked for him, and And then I was telling you in Mount Vernon, we were talking about Bill and Janet Daly.
Right.
And Bill was pushing a girl singer. She was from Mount Vernon. Kate Landers was her name.
Okay.
Used to be a Playboy bunny and all that stuff. Man, she was a pretty lady, and I got to know her. And then when I ended up down in Branson running lights and sound and Fall Spot, it was for Bill Daly, and she was there. So it's kind of a small world. And
absolutely. Yes.
It was funny. He'd come back to the sound booth and he'd say, put all the effects you can on Kate's voice. We need her to sound good, you know. Now, it was back in the, was it the 80s? When was it when the Cardinals and the Royals played that World Series?
85, yes.
That's when I was down there because that was on every night, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing a music show and I'm missing these ball games.
Right.
So, you know, I got to see the nights that we didn't have a show, I got to see them. But I go to work and there would be the dang band did this to me one time. I was in the sound booth. Now I had the show memorized. I knew all the cues. I knew what was next and this and that.
Right.
So I had some type of headphones up my sleeve, and I kept them in one ear like this right here while I ran sound and everything. And the band was introducing the band. They said, and we'd like to introduce our sound man in the back. If y'all like the way the sound sounds tonight, they go, I hope it sounds okay since he's back there listening to the ball game.
Right.
Busted. And I told him afterwards, don't ever do that again. No, because I've got control of the knobs of this PA system. I can make you sound really bad. But they were okay. They were okay. And I noticed a couple of those guys are still in Branson playing with different things. See, I go back to those days. One of them plays at the Country Jubilee, and one of them plays at the Pierce Arrow, I think.
Okay.
I'd love to go see him sometime. Just,
yes.
Hey, I don't know if you guys remember me, but I was back in the sound booth. And
sure they do, by the way.
So, you know, I've been seeing all that. Bruce said is pretty funny because he sees all these people I used to play music with. Bruce goes, I don't even remember half those people, and I was around you all the time when you were playing music. I go, there's a few I don't remember. I don't really. I remember going to Springfield and spinning water off the tires of the Trans Am up in the air, but I can't just recall the guy that we were doing it with.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want him to listen to this and say I don't. That's why he needs to get on here and go, I need to get on there and talk. So
definitely
knows who I am.
Email me at DaleWileyShow@gmail.com and I'll get you on here. Whoever you are, I'll get you on.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on here talking instead of just me talking. And I told Bruce, there's no, if you're listening to these things with me on, there's no telling what I'm going to be talking about.
Right.
And he said, Bruce was kind of like, I know, you know, Bruce was kind of like, basically, that's you. Yeah, you know, that's just you. And I told Bruce, I said, get on there. Because every time I came to Vegas, you'd take one day and take the car, and we just go around.
Right.
Stuff I wouldn't get to do if I was just out walking.
Right.
I go, you took me to some chicken fingers place that was new. It was awesome. I forget the name of it. Then last time I was out there, he's like, well, you want to go ride the big giant Ferris wheel thing where each car you can put like, they have parties in them, like 25 or 30 or 40 people in each car. You know, I mean, it's huge. And he got his discount for living there. So we did that. And then he's like, you want to go eat the best pizza in Vegas? I go, well, yeah. So we went in the back of some hotel and parked in the garage and went in and walked all through the hotel and ended up to some little out of the way pizza place that was just, it was really good. It was, but that was Bruce. We did stuff. I was wanting to buy a piece of luggage one time that was at one of the little strip malls.
Right.
So Bruce was just like, there was kind of an area you could kind of park, but it was full of cars. So Bruce goes, you know which one it is? I go, yeah. It was whipped in there, not in a parking place, just kind of off the side of the strip. He said, run in and get it real quick. I ran and got it. I come out and he had the trunk lit up. We threw it in there and took off. I mean, it looked like we were, taking a dead person out or something. It was,
yes.
But we had fun. And Bruce, I always had fun when I came out there. I was telling Bruce about, none of my friends called me about going to the basketball game at Crane. I mean, that disappoints me. I mean, I reached out to say, hey, I haven't been here all these years.
Right.
And nobody said a thing. But then I told Bruce, I said, well, you're in Vegas. How often do you get anybody that you grew up with talking to you?
Right.
He goes, man, you're about it. He said, said Skip Pope, you know, because they were both in the racing stuff together,
Sure.
and good times. Bruce was a good guy. My dad, that's my dad. You said a Ray Reed story. He kind of took Bruce under his wings. I mean, Bruce was looking for a job, and Bruce was into mechanicking and all that type of stuff. I mean, he was going to go to school for all that.
Right.
My dad put him right to work down there, and Bruce was a hard worker, man. If he's supposed to work till 5, he's there till 10 after 5. I mean, he was just a good guy, and he appreciated Dad giving him a job at the Chevrolet agency, and
Absolutely.
Dad appreciated him. He was just we had all good people. We had a mechanic one time with the tour bus. Something went wrong with it. Big old guy with overalls in Mount Vernon. He's underneath it with his legs sticking out. I said, "You think you can fix it?" And he rolled out and he goes, "If man made it, man can fix it." And he just scooted down there. And I said, "Okay."
That's the thought. That's the spirit, definitely.
Yeah.
So I need to do my Donna Skaggs moment and say this is a thing that needs to be shared on everybody that watches it. Share it. That's how you get bigger. I've learned that now.
Do what? What's that?
Everybody that watches it needs to share it from their computer, and that's how we get bigger. Because even watching this thing, it's getting bigger. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this is the type of thing. I mean, there could be somebody that wants to get on here like with me,
right,
and say, "Hey, you're wanting to do this thing in Branson. Let me throw a couple ideas at you here." Exactly. Let me. I know a couple people might be interested. I mean, it's if you're a motivated person and you want to try to do some stuff in life other than just sit home and grow old. Right. Here's your chance. We're not opposed to working with other people on some of this stuff we're doing.
Okay.
We're just, and
we'll talk tomorrow.
Knee deep in rubber.